Virgo.
You know we love you.
Hi, Virgo.
Hey, Virgo.
How are
It's
you?
Providence Tarot.
We're here.
Don't mind us. We're just doing a tarot reading.
It's time for us to be live with you. I'll probably get down closer to you in a minute, but I want to lay the cards out.
Yeah.
See what's going on.
So, yeah, while he lays the cards out, I will sit here. For now, we might even switch places. Who knows? Perfect timing. Good. Okay. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Kenyatta. So, hi, Blondie. So, we were just talking about the energy of Virgo. And, you know, people are just very quick to say analytical, critical. And that's not what you guys are all about, right? You guys are all about comfort in routine, strategy, things that make sense.
Karen,
You really just want the best for everyone.
You want to be
That's
of service.
what it is.
That's where the service, that's where the need to be of service comes from.
Yeah.
Is the need to be helpful.
Right. So you guys definitely have a good sense of how everyone can be their best and should be their best. But in knowing what everyone else's best aspects of themselves are, it's also important that you know what the best aspects of you are as well. Right? Stay determined in your energy. We were shuffling decks earlier, and the Chariot card presented itself twice. Now, I would definitely denote that to it expressing something to Dale and I more personally, but then we were also getting ready to do you guys' reading, and we both have Mercury in Virgo, and I've got Mars in Virgo. So we have strong Virgo energy between the two of us and with all of you guys. We know that the retrograde by your ruling planet is wreaking havoc on some of you. You guys feel like you want to just break out. You know, anything can happen at this point. You know, it's kind of like you guys are like feeling like you're hanging by a thread, but you're not because you're still staying in the game. It's like you gotta stay determined because you have to know that you are fully capable of doing things. Stay focused on the goal. Stay focused on what you attempted and what you set out to do in the beginning when you knew what your purpose was or when you thought you knew what your purpose was. Because some of you feel like you don't even know what it is anymore, right? But you still know you're on the path to finding your purpose.
You really are on the path, Virgo. All right, this is good. This is juicy.
Right, he's giving y'all something.
I'm
he's
giving
gonna
you
do it this way. Okay.
Yes, I'm gonna come
so
down.
we're
I'm
giving
getting
you...
down with you.
Wow.
Hi. All right.
You guys are sitting on the park bench with us. Does anyone have a light?
So, some interesting things are going on here. Hi guys. I need to hear that. Yeah. I'm doing an inner spread. So, we haven't done this kind of spread in a while. It's mostly looking at your emotions,
right,
and maybe love or just what's going on the shadow side. So this is going to be a little bit more shadow work here, and I think it's really good for you because planetarily Mercury is in retrograde.
Yes.
So your ruler is in retrograde in Leo, which is technically a blind spot for you, right? Because if you think of it in a tropical sense even, it's like, sun 1 being Virgo, 12 would be Leo, so that would be the subconscious. That would be like the thing that you're kind of getting away from, right? Because Leo is so gregarious and so flamboyant and just going out there. And then here comes Virgo being the practical, orderly one and being like, well, we need to produce this every time and everyone needs these things and we have to look at this detail. I know this is fun, guys, but by the way, did we get gas? Because, we don't want to run out of gas on this trip and da-da-da.
Right.
Like little things like that. So this might be stuff for you since you're so good at details. And everybody usually looks for you to have the details. It'll be good for you to kind of look at what's blocking you in that way because you're really good and really of service in that way. And Mercury is always talking about messages. With Gemini, it's like communication and the connection. With Virgo, it's about progression and in details in our day-to-day lives. So Virgo's going to come along and be the great teacher, the great instructor, the great interpreter. Okay? All right, so I'll go ahead and tell you, we were shuffling the cards a lot before
Yeah.
we started, and I was just energizing the Psychic Tarot because I haven't used it in a while, this particular deck. And I think one of the last time I used it was actually with you guys. It's a deck that I actually use for you often, but I don't think I've done this particular spread. So you'll be getting something different from us this time. Your theme overall is the number 5. So I'll go ahead and put that out there because it's already through the reading a lot. I'm seeing a lot of 5. 5 is talking about establishments. So the issues that are bothering you are group setting issues a lot. It doesn't necessarily have to do with just you personally. It might have to do with definitely work. We could definitely be having work issues. You are a Virgo, so work is very important to you.
Yay, we got light.
Anything tangible, or it could be anything that has to do with an establishment of people. Church, or your hobby, your team that you play on, and you guys are like on a track meet and you've got to meet and you've got a goal together. Anything that's long-term goal related that has to do with team playing, there could be a lot of conflict and defeat going on here. So this is Venus in Aquarius. 5 of Swords, which seems to be a theme. I don't have a job at this current moment. Well, that's a conflict in itself, isn't it? Right.
It's kind of
because,
like it's
right. That's still a conflict, right? That's tough. That's definitely right on the nail as far as like, you know, employment being a bothersome issue. If you're not having issues with people, it's because there's no people to have issues with. That's an issue. You know what I mean? So it's still talking about work. It's still talking about work-related things. And this is slander within. This is Aquarius. He always have a snack, right? Okay? This is Aquarius energy. So Aquarius is very fixed. And Venus is talking about law and logic and love. And you think that love and logic kind of contradict each other a little bit because, right? Because there's a hypocrisy going on there because love is blind, right? And then we start to become partial versus impartial to situations when we get into legalities, right? Because legal doesn't mean right.
Right.
Okay, so that's right.
There are a lot of laws that need to be changed.
Right. There's a very so here this could be like a slanderous thing going on, conflict that has happened already. Right? There's some type of conflict that's happened with you and a situation. It could be just a disappointment of how you wanted it to go.
Right.
It could also be slander within somehow or some type of like regret associated with the decision.
I feel like you might be communicating with yourself, right? He keeps talking about like the slander.
Your boyfriend you want to leave is Aquarius.
Right. He keeps saying, you know, like the slander within that comes from you, right? It's like those voices in your head that tell you that you may not be good enough at something because it's bigger than you, right? Because we're talking about 5s, we're talking about institutions, we're also talking about conflicts. It's like why you didn't go out for that orchestra seat position because you talked yourself out of it.
It's
because
unlucky or unlucky.
Yeah, it's like you were making yourself believe something that may have not even been true. It's just because you were living in that thought process and allowing yourself to identify with the conflict within it and overly identify with the conflict because it's like you're just analyzing it. I'm sorry. But that gets you into trouble because you will focus so much on the things that aren't working because you only want what's best. You have to also realize that there are going to be flaws.
Like not trying out to be the Janet Jackson dancer, overthinking. Yes, just do it. And that's something that you could be learning from Leo. Once again, your blind spot because they're fixed on their passion and on their self.
Right.
And so you're getting caught with the detail, Mercury being in retrograde. So now you need to go back and revise. Right? And replan and rethink and redo in this establishment. And this conflict could be just like, at this point, it could be petty. You know what I mean? Because you're fixed on something. So the conflicts that's happening with other people or with yourself could be just like, Every little thing now, right? Because the 5 is like you're halfway in between. You're the 1, you're the 10, you're right in the middle of every little thing bothering you, every little thing. It's scary. I need a concrete plan. Yes, you do need a concrete plan, but you also need to not rush the process. You, of all people, should know that. It's not about, you got to look at the big picture, which is unfortunately hard for Virgo. You see the details.
Have a plan. Because sometimes the plan starts with not having a plan and just initiating something. Libra, right?
I just turned in. I love you guys. Yeah, because at the bottom, if you see, you said I love this with Virgo, especially because you guys are so interactive, and we have Mercury in Virgo, so I get excited with you guys. But at the bottom, you have the 8 of Wands, which is Mercury and Sagittarius, and you just said, I need a plan. Okay. I always rush and leave the details later and things fall apart. Exactly. Because look, this is talking about having their endurance to keep going. Once you get on the boat, there ain't no land behind you no more, baby. You can't see the land in front of you either. So you're just going to have to set sail and trust that you know the direction you're going in.
You put too much energy into things too fast, right? Yeah. When you start them, because you're like, well, this is what it should be. And it's like, we do want you to get to that point where it's become something substantial and something that's worthwhile and that we can see and that we can admire. But what about what is innately you that's involved in that
dating
process?
Dating a Sag, I'm a Sag rising, rushing things, and I feel like I'm doing the same.
Don't rush. Go through the process. Because that's what you're best at, Virgo.
Listen, look, this is at the bottom. I'll go ahead because it peaked itself, and it peaked itself out already. Crown chakra. Yeah. So this is, you got all these cards in front of it. So for the person that's dating the Sag, it could very well be, you could be Beyonce, okay? And he could be Jay-Z. They've been together forever, right? So it's like, what are you rushing? She got all these albums and 3 kids by him. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, if that's the first card with y'all. Okay.
Now we're in the reading.
Now we're really in it.
The reading has begun.
The reading has begun.
Been done, got him.
And it's so funny because we were thinking about the title. I was shuffling, doing all this. Like, Chakras has to be in the title. He kept saying it over and over again. His Mars is in Virgo. And his Mercury. So he kept saying it over and over again. Chakra has to be in the title. You have 2 chakra cards already. There are only 7 out of 65 cards. Okay? 2 chakra cards have already appeared, right? And these 2 chakra cards are really talking about the throat and the lotus. So this is really about communication. What are you or what are you not communicating? And then how are you receiving communication from others? And how are you communicating it? Right?
See, it's like the divine would never tell you to not do something that it believed that you could do. That's you telling yourself that. If it's a gift that was given to you, then it's already been deemed possible. Right?
Right.
It's like, don't think that something is impossible if you can very well see that it is.
Right, exactly. Now you're just being negative, and there's, it's a thin line with you, Virgo, between pessimism and realism.
Right.
Right, So you got to, right.
And masochism, too.
And masochism, too. But the masochism, you start to get in a water sign. So if you're a Virgo and you have strong water placements, then you really have to be careful about it. Because water will get you into that masochism where you fantasize about the suffrage. It makes it's glamorified. It's glamorous now.
Now all of the conditions are right for this plant to grow into a tree of instability and...
Started to tune in with the moon sign. The most I listen more than I sound like Scorpio and Virgo throughout the chart. Yeah.
Well, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So here the theme is 5 of swords, right? And then you've got another 5. The first 2 cards are 5 and 5. So this is talking about conflict. 5 supremely is the number of conflict a lot, and a lot of that comes because you're talking about a group setting. This could even have to do with, you're talking about commitments. Right? Because this is Taurian energy. This is Hierophant. So it's talking about commitments.
You're having anxiety.
Yes. You're having anxieties, there's some type of beauty, loss of beauty within an establishment or a commitment or an agreement. And it could have to do with work, or it could have to do with your mate somehow, and just your ritualisms. I've been seeing 5 a lot. Yeah. Yeah, and 5, Mars is 5. Mars is in retrograde, and so is Mercury.
Right.
Excuse me. And Mercury is in retrograde in Leo, and Mars is in retrograde in Aquarius, so they're opposing each other, but they're both in retrograde.
Right.
So that's very powerful because your ruling planet is in retrograde, and then 5 being significant right now is really talking to you. Okay. Also, you are a human. We were talking about that. How like the Virgin is personified by a human, and so is Aquarius, right?
It's
and you guys,
accepting your faults as well. You know what I mean? Because it's like there are positive attributes, and then there are attributes that aren't negative that we just may not, want to acknowledge.
past placement. So most recent past, this is an inner spread. So for the inner spread, there's not a strong past placement. You only have one past placement. So for this, it could be the most
It's a very
recent.
immediate reading.
Yeah, it's mostly your most immediate influence. But for some of you, especially if it's a major arcana card that comes out in that placement, it could be something you've been dealing with for years.
Wow.
But for most of you, this is something maybe within this year. But especially within this month, like within last month versus this month, or over the summer. This is talking about 4 of Wands energy, Venus and Aries, right? So now it's talking about what have you been doing, putting work into beautifying yourself again. That's for sure.
It's like well deserved, right?
Yeah.
It's like
the feeling of beauty.
Good work doesn't go unnoticed.
A ceremony, because you are a Virgo, right? I love both of you guys. I love you too.
Hey,
you are a Virgo, so you could be planning an event.
Right.
You could be planning an event. You could be planning a ceremony, a marriage, a funeral, a family reunion, something where people have to come together because it's a 5, and you could be having a lot of conflicts within it.
Right.
And maybe it's just like, it's just a mind over matter kind of thing, because it could be distance related, or it could have to do with just you oh great throat chakra strengthening chant. My birthday is 2 weeks. I'm just reading these and this
we're
too.
about to get to Virgo season, so you guys really want to start thinking about what matters to you.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to go to another birthday season and
Planning.
feel like you're not doing your best with yourself.
Okay. Family reunion September 1st. First time I've seen family in a couple of years. Thank you, Brandon. Yeah, no problem. So that's going to be exciting because it's in your mind. And look, this is talking about setting sail. So some of you, this is the bottom of the deck. And this, 4 of Wands, is double this. So this is the past.
Right.
And this is the future.
Right.
Yes, on September 7th. Okay. Right. Yeah, so this is the future. Right. So now you can see how harmonious these two cards seem to be going in together, right? It's almost like, of course, this leads to this, right? And this is a mountain. And then this is like I'm smooth sailing.
It's interesting, you guys. You keep saying September 7th. A lot of people have September 7th birthdays.
I'm having to start straight. Wait, feel awesome and on point in September, August 26th. I love you guys. Yes, keep going.
That's why the reading is actually calling for you to rebalance your chakras. It's calling for you to rebalance your attitude towards yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, you don't want to be the person that is discouraging you. You've already got enough of those people.
All right, so things are becoming clear. I'm revealing cards.
Okay.
So certain cards are already turned over, and then we're getting a reveal with other cards. So we're learning cards while you learn cards too. So the reveal of this card just recently is in your sun.
This is
so
the
your
tower.
sun, yes, is the tower. The sun is how people are seeing you right now, and these are your actions. So it's the tower, which only reiterates Mars energy. Right? 5 has been the theme. 5 has been the theme. I'm excited about this reading because I just had the last night. It's so on point. Trying to balance love and family and personal life.
Right.
This is talking about something might happen that really throws your will. So you've been planning this ceremony, and then something unexpected might happen.
Unexpected.
Yeah, something unexpected might happen that has a change of focus. So just be flexible within that. You are mutable, so you are flexible, actually. Even though you are Earth, which is, Earth is not as flexible. You are the most flexible in that way. It is about order and progression. Here, the tower in your sun is saying something might not go exactly how you want it to. Or you might, really in your will feel really driven to act in a certain way to a certain person. It could be a person. It could be an establishment. Mutable baby, laugh out loud. Yeah, here, this is talking about a change of focus or things coming in that just cause a whole new array of ideas,
Right.
like family,
Something
the
is
establishment,
right. Something
right?
could change for you that is going to make you change your perspective.
Right.
It's like if you were too
Definitely.
stubborn and
Thrown
you were just
from it.
stuck in your ways before, it's like the universe, spirit, the divine is forcing you to think in a different way because you're so used to your routine. It's like I'm going to knock you off your ass and I'm going to show you that you can do it in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not saying that you can't do what you always wanted to do. It's just saying that you're going to be doing it in a different way. You're going to have a new understanding of what is possible out of this thing that might come in and destroy one way that you thought it could be.
Right. And that is a very, like the Tower card, that's talking about like a certain type of zap or epiphany or a sudden discomfort that causes you to make changes. Yes, on my ass right now. Yeah, no, this is just straight up. Like you could be, because you get very cynical, you know? And then you get caught up in the detail, or you get caught up in the petty thing that maybe didn't even happen to you, but you're like, that, I don't care, it wasn't right. But it wasn't right though, you know, and you get caught up in that little fickle justification. It's true because it's Virgo.
Because you feel like it's,
you know, it's like orderly.
You feel
it's
like it's a reflection on you if it
Yeah.
involves you, right?
Right.
So if somebody does something that you don't like and it affects you really like materially in some kind of way, like maybe that person isn't available for this event that they said they were going to be available for.
focusing on a matter that doesn't matter. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Mercury, you can't
Right.
help it. You know, because in a way, you want to be progressive.
Right.
So, and you have an eye for detail.
Mhm.
So, it does seem like it matters in the moment.
You're going to acknowledge.
Yeah,
for
unless
sure.
you have a strong
'Cause
fixed
that's
placement.
Mercury.
Or you have a mate who's going to get you out of it, you're gonna naturally go into it because you're just like, you're mutable.
Right.
So all of that stuff and being ruled by Mercury is really affecting you in a detailed way. This is the ace. This is the ace here of swords.
Right.
In your moon.
Right.
So remember, this kind of reading is already talking about shadow work. Mercury being in retrograde, this is saying like you may feel like you have to make a change of focus.
Right.
And this could very well be, like I said,
Yeah.
shadow work on yourself.
Right.
Right? Because this is talking about your will and what you were building and then changing what you were building. No matter how far down the wrong road you go, Virgo, turn around.
Your shadow is still going to be a part of you forever because everyone has a shadow side, right? So that changes your perspective right there. Now we just knocked you on your ass. Now you need to realize that with each new situation comes a new set of problems.
Yeah.
Yes, you're never going to be able to get
You
into
love
a new
problem
situation
solving.
and not have any problems.
Get into
right.
it.
You love that.
Yeah,
So
get
now,
into it.
what
You
is-
just want to be seen as right. It's like you love problem solving, but you don't want to you don't want people seeing you problem solving. You
Right.
want them to see you have already had the problem solved.
Right.
Like, but it's like people relish in seeing you work.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's something you could learn from Leo.
You're the
Because
problem
Leo's
solver.
like, look at me doing it.
You're the
I'm
problem
the
solver,
leader,
right?
but you could come in and actually be like, look at, you see that bolt needs to be tightened on the third wheel over there.
Right.
You know, but it's like you want to hide that.
Right. And people may not really see what it is that you're offering
Okay.
or bringing to the
I saw that
situation.
descending cuss.
You know what I mean? They may not may not be able to fully recognize what you bring to the situation, but that doesn't mean that you have to explain it to them. Maybe you should just like exist within your own abilities and let that be the magic of who you are. Do
You
what
said
you
all
do.
you've been doing is problem solving in your relationships. But then Kendrick made a very valid point about Aquarius, and if you guys have connections with the Aquarius, you should definitely go in and read that. See that reading from yesterday because it was good, juicy. But it's like you don't have to problem solve everything. And that's a really hard realization for you and for Gemini because Mercury is so close to the sun.
But I
so
know
the
it.
actions,
But
it's
I
like,
know
what's
it.
going on? It's like, you know what I mean? It's
Right.
like you feel like there has to be a resolution to it, and sometimes it's just the information for the information's sake. Sometimes you cannot communicate a way out of it. It's just the process, especially if you're dealing with Saturn or the Sun or Pluto, because those are all benevolent planets, and they don't give a fuck about what you think or
guys
your
are
feelings.
restless.
It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, you're going to learn this lesson.
Right.
You're going to have this reveal, or you're just going to be fried, you know?
Mm-hmm.
God, I have been trying to make peace with that lately.
Yeah,
It's
it's a restlessness, you know?
It's hard. You know, meditation is a really good way to do it. For you guys, you are earthly.
Wow.
So go outside. Please don't be inside all the time, especially if you can. Grow something. Get a plant.
Yes.
Grow something. Get a pet.
Oh.
You're a Virgo. You know, get a fish, even if it's just a fish, and you have to think, did I feed it today? Like, you know what I mean?
Want stability and balance.
These type of things are good for you, especially if you don't have a child and you're a Virgo. Because you need to still kind of like nurture something and find this balance of a nurturing, because you can get so loner, like and analyzing everything that you do and everything that everyone does, and this over anxiety of being perfect, which is impossible. Right? What is perfection? We don't even know what that is.
Here's the deal with Virgo and any planet, any sign ruled by Mercury. I would say you definitely need to have that therapeutic time. That's what Aquarius is actually asking us to do. Mars is retrograde in Aquarius right now, so some of you may not be willing to just sit your ass down, get quiet.
She's got pets and 3 sons.
About, reading.
Where you got a Cancer Moon and Capricorn in there, a Taurus girl.
You need to sit your ass down.
That's giving me those.
And try to get these kids to be quiet. Or when they're out doing something at a birthday party or something, maybe they're at the park. Calm your mind.
It's like that meme. Wait, it's like that meme. You guys know the memes on the internet that they be getting. It's the one. This was one with this girl from Real Housewives or something, or Basketball Wives, and she's like, I gotta cook, I gotta clean, I gotta do the dishes, I gotta bake bread, I gotta be good at sex, I gotta be good to people. I'm tired.
Right.
Right?
Well,
like
listen,
she's like,
6
dogs. I'm tired.
You got 6 dogs? Send them to me. Okay, I love dogs. I am obsessed. So yes, you guys, you got to bring some stability into your mind.
Yeah,
you got to bring some stability back into your routine. You got to center yourself.
5 is talking about looking at the spiritual. You're focusing too much on the material. You're focusing too much on the material. And you probably need, because the 5th house is also about your sensual pleasures. You're probably not having enough of it, Virgo.
Right.
You know, Virgo is the first one to be like, to make sensuality something practical, right? It's like, Leo's like, look at this sensuality, and don't it feel good, and don't you want some? And Virgo's like, everybody should be having this. This is something we all need. Right. You know, it's like you're making it into something practical.
In a way.
So it's like, are you giving yourself that? Because your prudence and that criticalness is going to have to cut out when you start starving that body of what it needs. So you need to, okay, you are earth sign. So there's got to be a balance there, or then you end up doing these extremities. Let's see what you don't know around the corner. The need for intimacy.
A decision is going to have to be made, right.
Moon and Libra.
And understanding that.
So around the corner, there could be a Libra that has some information for you. It is a progression from you. Or it could be a Libra that affects you somehow. Affects your feelings. Affects you. You could have a Libra, friend or relative somehow. Because Libra is conjunct to you.
Right.
So it's definitely.
There's sort of
don't starve that body.
It's sort of like the analyzing and the weighing in, and then it's also like the consideration that's taking place.
This is about intimacy, especially.
So I want you
guys, which is something you could learn from Libra.
I want you guys to really think about the consideration that you place upon yourself and for your own mental balance checks, right? It's like you don't want to make every problem your problem to solve. Even if someone might not be stepping up to the plate, someone will.
You have a Libra friend, I have a Libra friend too, right here. Right? So, the moon being there is talking about what you feel too. And I said that this reading was probably shadow work for you because you do have to go in with Mercury in retrograde right now and revise a lot of stuff that's going on.
Make the choice that's best for you.
So some of you are going to go in and you don't even realize it yet, but it's going to happen. And you're going to start weighing your relationships. A relationship in particular. but you're going to start weighing them in general because, like you said, some of you are like, I am doing all this stuff and all these relationships. It's too much. It's too much.
Why are you giving so much of yourself?
It's too much. You didn't spread yourself so damn thin, and it's not fair. You're not being fair to yourself, and that's something that Libra is good at: balance, being fair, right, and being fair doesn't just mean being fair to other people.
It's not being practical, it's being logical.
Right. It's not being practical, right? Because being the practical thing to do would be, hey, have this conversation
Do it.
down
Take
here.
care of this
Let's
right
do
now.
this. Order this. Oh, we do need this. Blah 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 blah
Right.
blah. The logical thing is, oh, I'm not gonna
That needs to
be.
wait.
I'm not gonna
Right.
I'm not gonna be my best self without doing this first.
Right.
That would be logical, right?
Mhm.
It's practical to eat a meal a day.
Right.
It's logical to eat it before you exercise.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You know?
Right, exactly. It's like you
So
want
it's
to
just
think
a
about
placement.
all of those
things. And you get that because you're all about order. Once you understand the order, that's what gets you frustrated. Not seeing the order.
Right.
Not having the plan.
Right.
Right? Not having the plan. I'm learning to delegate. Yes, Virgo.
Because otherwise,
Learn.
like,
That's something you can learn from Leo.
if-
your blind spot right now.
If you're putting things together
Put
in
people to work.
order, then you'll be able to put things in disorder too.
You
Right?
understand
because
now.
when you're
Good.
When you're in your lower polarity, things become in disarray.
Kendrick,
You know
how
what
do
I
we
mean?
get to a Libra's heart?
Treat
Tell
them
us. Just kidding. Tell them.
Treat them right.
Treat them right. Treat them right. Treat them fair.
That's it.
And
that
also-
sounds easy.
It sounds easy. A lot of it is also being present. So what happens with Virgo, because I'm actually talking to a Virgo right now, kind of dating one a little bit. And that's a little bit, I mean, I'm a Leo, so I'm conjunct with Virgo. So it is kind of like the physical aspect is real easy. Y'all the best. The physical aspect is real easy. But like the mental aspects are harder because Virgos get so caught up on the information or the detail and the
Right.
series of what it is.
Right.
And then it becomes unfair.
Right.
It's like if you've been talking about this one thing that you really want to improve, even if it's just in the relationship for an hour, it's not fair to talk about it all day.
It's like if some of you have
You know,
Saturn,
it's not,
if some of
you know, it's
some
like,
of you Virgos
weigh
out
it
there,
out.
Sun, Moon, and Rising. But if you have Saturn in Virgo, then you probably don't ever let anybody get by with anything, right?
Oh,
that Virgo energy,
Mercury and Virgo.
Mercury and Virgo.
We do
yeah,
too.
We both do. Yeah. we
Yeah,
have it.
Mercury and Virgo is a very, very great placement because Mercury is ruled by Virgo, obviously. So it's like even when you have Mercury and Virgo, you can be seen as a Virgo a lot, which we do. So, you know, some of the characteristics of a Virgo are those very innocent qualities that you probably see even in us, or that very virgin-like kind of sweet, young look. Very Virgo. Even if you don't look that way, a lot of Virgos look younger than they actually
Right.
are, or they are just perceived very kind of innocently, you know,
Like
they
when you
love
hear a
that,
Virgo swear,
you know.
You never really would think that you would hear a Virgo swear until you hear them swear.
Right. Yeah, because they
You're
think
like,
of very
oh.
much about the communication factors, which is kind of funny because Virgos can very much have a potty mouth, and they can be very much into things that aren't necessarily glamorous, but it has to be an order for it, like a lady in the street, but a freak in the bed kind of thing. Always going to be a lady in the street. And you might even look at that lady like, she probably can get down, but you will
Right.
never see it.
No.
You'll never know.
But
Not
you
unless
might-
you get lucky enough to
right.
be in that relationship
Right.
with them.
But
That's
the thing
just how
about that mercurial aspect with Virgo is that they also make jokes that are of like maybe a sexual or sensual kind of tongue-in-cheek nature.
Mhm.
So you know that there's that aspect of them that exists. You just don't get to see it in action, which is good.
What about Virgo and Mars? He has Virgo
I have
and Mars.
and Virgo.
So he could talk to you about Virgo and Mars. It's talking about you having to have that order. Go on and
My
tell him.
Mars is in Virgo at 0 degrees. So it's like everything that you do, it has to begin in a place of making sense, right? It's to start making sense before I start making sense of it.
It can get very it's funny because my Mars is in Scorpio and his Mars is in Virgo, and he's very detail orientated about order to things, and I'm not joking, you guys. It's very when he goes to people's houses and he sits on certain furniture, of when people offer him certain drinks, if they touch the top of it, or anything that has to do, because Virgo is very hypochondriac. Y'all know how y'all get. Yeah, I think I'm getting sick, or stomach problems or anything like that. It's so
I
all
don't
of
like
these little
when the
nitpicky things, all of these order things.
The tables in restaurants are too small and you're too close to my food and you're talking loud.
Oh my God! If you're spitting and talking for him, Mars and Virgo.
I'm not eating.
Oh
It's
God!
now you ruined
the little
my meal.
detail of that
I
little
can't eat
thing.
my food.
fucked it all up for him. He don't even want the food.
I'm a Libra, so I can't tell everyone at the table that you spit in my food
so
and I can't eat it now.
Yeah, it's too close to my food. Right? It's like Virgos. I can't with you guys. I can't. You guys are hilarious. But it's so true because Virgo also rules the digestive tract. So a lot of Virgos will have issues with the stomach or the esophagus or just the digestive tract in general, or stress, stomach, appetite. I can't eat when when I'm stressed out, or I eat too much when I'm stressed out.
You need
That's
clean
very
eating.
Virgo
needs very clean eating.
Yeah, they do. They need it's very orderly, and it's not about the Venetian aesthetic in that sense. It's more about the actual intake of the vegetables and the things of the earth, the nutrients.
Right? For you, Virgo, because that's what's important to you. You're like, this is beautiful.
I've literally been having so many stomach issues lately. Yeah.
Eat clean, you guys.
Well, Mercury is in retrograde right now too, so you might not be listening to or the communication might not be well. So if you have allergies to things, you're allergic to things, nut allergies, anything like that, wheat, gluten, make sure when you go to restaurants, they are communicating to you what's in it. You know what I mean? Like, because Mercury is in retrograde. So something fickle little thing like that could really be something really upsetting for you.
Right. Because they might be using something like, you might be allergic to sunflower seed oil, but you may not be allergic to like walnut oil.
I lose weight every time I go through a breakup. I completely get it. My Mercury is in Virgo, and I have Saturn and Mars in Scorpio. So I get the whole scorn of it and like the stress of it and like not wanting to have an appetite because the stomach is related to you specifically. So that's kind of like a control factor for you. It's a little detail that you can control. We can't control all these things that happen to us, but you can control what you put in your body.
Speaking of
Virgo,
control,
right?
Let's look at these other cards here.
Okay, your anxieties. These are clarifiers, and then future outcome, and then of course the frontal lobe. So your anxiety, another 5. Your anxiety is 5 of Pentacles energy. So the person who said they were unemployed, boom. There you go. There's your anxiety.
About work. You're thinking about your material
This is definitely talking about material anxieties over material destitution or
how much time you're able to put into something.
If you asked if this relationship is a really good relationship or a meaningful relationship, this is saying that the relationship might be in the way of a better one. Right. Sorry, Virgo, but I'm not going to pussyfoot around it for you. Right. I'm not going to do it. You want a personal reading? Have a personal reading with us, and I'll try to clarify that. Right. But right now, it's saying that there could be either an establishment, this job is in the way of a better job. Right. This or this relationship with this person is not as deep because it's not deep. It's not deep. It's like you're trying to make it deep.
You're allowing yourself to be a part of something that doesn't work. That is not working. Right? And you know that it's not working because there's conflict in the materialization of things. You're like, well, I won't be able to have this here.
Why is it so hard?
So why are you still there?
It's not just the retrogrades. Actually, the retrogrades here are not making it hard for you. They're making you look at it again.
Look at it again. Right? Exactly. So if you're seeing it for what it really is, and you know that there might be a ceiling, or you know that there isn't.
It's true, I know. The truth is...
Or you know you don't want to be promoted in this particular business, right? Then you know that it's time to go.
Then you know that it's time to speak up. Because what it is saying, this is what's covering you. So this is what you're getting to. You're going to get to this place where you have the change of focus on your emotions.
Right.
And then you speak up.
Right.
You speak up. It's going to happen, because what's going on is this can't continue. You got so many 5s. How many 5s, Kendrick?
Like 3.
They got all the 5s, pretty much. You got 5 of Pentacles, 5 of Swords, 5 of Cups, and the chakra. So the only one that's missing here, I know why my person was there. I appreciate the lessons moving forward for sure. Good.
You're missing 5 of Wands.
You're missing 5 of Wands. That's the only one.
So there is no competition, right?
The competition is with yourself because the 4 of Wands is there.
Exactly.
So a lot of you are getting back to yourselves. You've been putting too much time into this, and it's great. It's good. Oh, you have compassion. This person does this too. They're at your job too. They're in your interest too. They like your hobbies too.
Five of Pentacles.
They like to go on walks or smoke or whatever. You got this thing in common. Video games.
Right. 5 of Pentacles. 5 of Pentacles is the realization that it's not working out. Mercury. 5, the conflict within the materialization and the value of something.
What you built isn't working out from the 4.
Right.
Yeah. You built something.
Right.
And now it's not working out.
And exactly. Yeah.
Right. So it's like the 6 is like to expand into
We
deeper
formulated
feelings.
it. Now there you go.
Mars and Leo. You already know. This is what you know.
You're determined
so
to
this
win.
is for some of you. Oh yeah, you are determined to win. For some of you, this is a passionate, very slow struggle inside emotionally.
Right.
So it could not have to do with the relationship that's not working as much as it has to do with your deep, meaningful struggle of what it means to be in a relationship. Lady in the street, but a freak in the bed. I lose my weight. Da 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 da. I gained a few pounds. Being single. Oh, it's okay. You know what? Don't be obsessed about that, but do get back to the beautifying of yourself. Because really,
y'all are stress eaters.
The funny thing is you're so afraid of judgment too. So it really is like you could be beautiful at 10 pounds heavier, 10 pounds less to your mate, but to you, it could be causing all of this anxiety. So that's something for you to look at, you know.
Being Mars in Virgo, a lot of the times the lovers that I have might be intimidated by my body type, but there's nothing that I can do about that. It doesn't mean that I don't like their body type. You know what I mean? And I can understand that because, Mercury in Virgo as well.
Right.
It's like I understand the appreciation for
right.
something that is actually natural.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, and then with the Mars here in the frontal lobe, it's like Mars and Leo. First of all, now is Leo. And Leo is a part of you. So we're talking about the deeper desires of the heart and inside of yourself. I was wondering if the other 5 was going to come up. You got all the 5s. You got all the 5s.
Right.
Every single 5.
Yeah, I was like, oh, you just didn't get the 5
Remember,
of wands,
we did. We said you didn't get the 5 of wands. The 5 of wands is the outcome, which I skipped ahead. I want to know why I can't be with my karmic love, but I walked away like Spirit said. I'm seeing the synchronicities of 11:11. Well, he's going to clarify with the cards, and I will go ahead and say this is deep because then you start to get into aspects and relationships in general, because when you think about it, every relationship is karmic. You can meet somebody at the grocery store, and that was meant to be. That 10 minutes that you met at the grocery store and had that moment was the 10 minutes. Right. Or you could have 10 years with someone and it be karmic. But then we have soulmates, and then we have twin flames. Right. Those are all those aspects. So you may have already learned what you needed to learn from this situation, and there's more for your heart to learn within this life path. There's another person that you've got to meet.
Absolutely. It's all a network of opportunity and divine influence.
Stop controlling and allow. Allow. And I think when you get the levels of communication where you want them to be with your karmic love, you'll feel better because you are ruled by Mercury. So it's like a lot of it is probably like you feel like you're not communicating at all, and that's what the frustration is. And then letting go of whatever kind of ownership or possession you might feel like is there.
Here is your clarifying card. You got the Wheel of Fortune.
It's
Archangel Jeremiah. Right, exactly. New beginnings, end of delays, a change in directions that offers
Maybe it was the boyfriend and not the husband.
So now, whatever this shift is that's going to take place, once you feel confident enough and more determined and more realigned with who you are, you're going to be able to accept those opportunities that come your way. Remember, you got the 8 of Wands in this reading, so that is opportunity and
the 8 of Pentacles.
Right, and Jupiter is luck. So chance, opportunity, luck, skill, you've got it all, Virgo. You can do it. Stop telling yourself that you are not good enough. You are amazing.
Yeah, you can do it. And like, it's so funny because you have 2 cups here, only 2 cup cards as a clarifying cards within your anxieties of these obstacles, right? Because for some of you, it is a relationship, and I hit it right on the nail when I was talking about it not being better, not being good. We are going to round it up, but like these cards to clarify it for you, right? Because 5 and 6 together are 11, which is Libra, the relationship in itself.
Okay,
right?
You've got it wrong there. You're always going to have to work at your relationships. You can't just exist in the relationship and think that something's going to happen. Otherwise, you'll end up in the same place that you were the last time.
That sounded like Earth just then. Right, just existing in it. It's Earth. It's just here. No, you got
to work at your relationship.
You're about progression already, and you know that. Right. So, it's all about the little bitty details in it, You do need this. And I hope you guys go back and watch it again and again. Go back after the retrograde and watch it again, too, because we're in a retrograde right now.
Okay, right. Don't chase anybody down. Yeah, I was telling him that I don't really... Most of the people that I've had long-term relationships with, I didn't go to them. They came to me.
I know, but we have Cancer moons, so that's a little different. If you have a fiery moon, you might actually have to act.
We
You
got
might
that
have to,
Empress
you
energy
know,
too.
do that. For you, it's really just about being in a time and a place and
Right.
not being so critical, because you're probably attracting people and then you're so hard up. You get it's like a wet blanket. My Mercury is in Virgo, so I know how fickle it can get when you get turned off by something. I mean, Virgo get turned off so fast and make your head spin. You know, y'all was talking dirty, it was fun, and then all of a sudden it was like, ew, I'm grossed out.
That's happened to me before. That's happened
Okay.
to me before. And it's like you can't continue in the same way
I'm a
that you
Virgo
were
who has a
before.
strong interest in another male Virgo, and I don't know if it seems like it's stagnated things moving, and I feel like it's because of him. Okay.
Why do you feel like it's because of him?
Yeah. So that's something to look at, because you can't control what he does.
You
All
may
you can
not be
control is
accepting
what
what you,
you do and your
yeah.
actions and the situation. Because look, it's something about frustration with your will. This is the sun here. The sun was the tower card. So you're being seen as somebody who's frustrated by not getting what they want in the situation.
Right.
That's for sure. Okay? All right, this is really
Virgo.
good.
You know, you always give it with your readings.
Always give it. I want to come back to these chakras real quick. And as soon as I said I wanted to come back to the chakras real quick, your card appeared, Virgo.
Okay.
Bam. Okay, so you were supposed to see yourself just then. I'm down. Okay, we're rounding it out.
Yeah.
But just go ahead and go to that place where you analyze. He tells me that he's nervous. He has some fear because of some past relationships. And the older man, what's his damn problem? I'm not
Give
waiting for him
time.
anymore.
Well, you don't have to wait for him, but that was his experience to heal from.
You know
not
what?
yours.
And have you done this? Because you just did it to us, right? You just told us. But did you tell him? Did you communicate your will through your throat to him? Because once you do that, then it becomes something finite that you can learn from. Because
Right.
it is about an intimate relationship with another person, a lot of you. One other person. And that person may not be your lover, or it may be your lover. Because a lot of you is one person that you see individually this way. You know, so there is a progression, and you're almost there, Virgo. This is a 9. So the 10 is like, bam. That's it.
All right,
so
y'all.
You're almost there. Keep going.
If you want to book a private
Your
reading,
birthday's
you
next
guys,
month.
email us at providencetarot@gmail.com. We're Providence Tarot on Instagram and Facebook. We'll get to that. We have some exciting news coming up. We'll be filling you guys in on that as we continue to move forward into the future. If you want to follow Dale on Instagram, he's at Blue is True with 2 T's. I am at NYC Kendrick.
Okay, so you guys need my Earth Love reading, clearly.
Yeah,
which I will get to you.
I know. Do the Earth Love.
I know. I said I
Fire.
was gonna do an Earth Love
Still
and
got
Fire, so there's still time, and
Yes.
I'm gonna get
All right, you
we
guys,
see you.
subscribe. Share this